Welcome to Spiritually Raw. We expose and explore controversial truths, myths, and theories surrounding the spirit world. Guests include QAnon experts, investigators, debunkers, and skeptics of the supernatural, unexplained, and flat-out unimaginable. Content discussed on this show is not necessarily the opinion of the cast of Spiritually Raw, and topics quite often are for mature audiences only. This show is not intended to replace any medical, financial, or legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
During these crazy times, people are always asking us, what do we do to stay calm, focused, vibrant during the day, and sleep peacefully at night? For the past 2 years, we've been taking raw, CO2 extracted CBD oil and paste daily from a company called Beautiful Earth Organics. They utilize the best extraction methods to make their products with the cleanest and the highest potency it can be, along with the highest standards of testing and organic philosophies. The results we receive are extraordinary, and the mind-blowing healing and health and wellness testimonials speak for themselves. If you're searching for a holistic organic remedy that works for pain, illness, and a better quality of life, and frankly, the fountain of youth, check out earthorganiccbd.com and make sure to add the code SRAW15 at the checkout and receive an additional 15% off. If you have any questions about how CBD can give you a better quality of life or work with your current health regimen, just text or call them and use your code SRAW15. Go to earthorganicscbd.com. Again, that's earthorganicscbd.com. This is not intended to replace any medical advice.
Hello, everybody. How are you? And welcome to Spiritually Raw. Thank you so much for your energy exchange with us today. We hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. So we're very privileged to have Glacier Rain on with us today, and April's going to tell you a little bit about her in just a second. I do want to remind you, for those of you who are visiting the channel for the first time, or if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. So then when we do upload videos, you are notified that. And please share the video content as social media restrictions are getting tighter. Some other great news regarding social media is that, or some good news, I should say, is regarding social media, is that we've created a collective channel with a bunch of other patriots, and we're all under, and you can find us, and the links will be in the description below. You'll be able to find us under the Collective Super Channel. The links will be in the description below. And there's a bunch of us all patriots really getting together under one umbrella to get that message out to you, and hopefully unrestricted for a while. So, we'll see how that goes. So, but keep tuning in and you'll know where we're at. Okay. So,
and that's also, it's on YouTube, the Collective Super Channel, and UGETube Collective Super Channel. But again, the links will be in at the bottom. And don't forget to hit the notification bell on both of them. And thank you so much for also connecting with us on Twitter. And you can also direct message us there as well. And all of our social media links are also included down below. And thank you so much for those of you that also are members of spirituallyraw.live. We are super grateful and thankful for each and every one of you.
Yep. Check that out. There's definitely all content there is uncensored, and you get free 3 days on us. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy. There's a lot of diverse stuff out there. So absolutely. More about our guest. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Let's meet Glacier Rain. She's an intuitive life coach, an ascension guide, also a timeline coach. This is going to be really, really interesting, and a quantum energy coding technique practitioner. She's going to explain that one. And you can connect with her at glacierrain.com, and you'll also see her links in the description below as well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
Really are.
Thank you so much.
Quantum energy coding. So, what is that?
So basically, the way that we store trauma, we store it in the field within our DNA. So kind of like with epigenetics. So when you're working on clearing trauma, you have to get down to that, really the quantum level, to actually shift it when it's something that's been encoded in the cellular memory. So we're clearing for our ancestors. We're clearing our past lives, this lifetime too, because anything we encounter in this lifetime starts to alter our energetics. And of course, our physical body responds to our energy. And anything that's stored in the energy body for a long time as static starts to create a physical condition.
When you say we're clearing for our ancestors, how does that work? Can you explain that part to us?
Well, so within the memory of the DNA, so generation gets handed the trauma that was unresolved from the generation before. And so it starts to compound within the cellular memory, and we have these experiences in our life that we don't even realize are drawn to us magnetically because we're emitting that traumatized energy, right? It's part of our genetic coding or our vibrational expression through the genetic coding, right? It's, you can't look at it on, on a microscope, you can't see it.
Sure, I understand. Yeah.
It's energy within the DNA. So when you clear one, we're all quantumly connected. You clear everything connected to that DNA when you start to clear it on that level.
How do you actually do that?
You actually repattern the energy. So as electromagnetic beings, you can get certain patterns of energetic distortions. So basically a trauma is stored as an energetic distortion. It's not the truth about what you are. So that limited pattern that is held in place by a point of view or a memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's dissolved basically when you bring in new information. So you essentially bring in new light codes that help to break down the stagnant patterns, because it's just old stagnant energy, outdated energy codes.
I hear a lot of people throwing that around, the light codes. Help us understand exactly what they are, how they work, and what exactly do you do with them?
Okay, so light codes are coming in from the universe. So we've got light codes coming in from the sun, and then we've got different stars, different suns. We're impacted by every single thing in the universe because we're actually connected with everything. So light contains information. We are made up of little packets of light, even though, we look pretty physical here. We're actually light. We're moving constantly. And so within those packets of light is information. So when you're talking about light codes, you're talking about activating certain sequences of information within your energetics. And that can bring about a different vibrational awareness that allows you to access different levels of creation or different levels of consciousness.
So that's really fast. Okay, so I'm just trying to picture. Okay, so how are you grabbing these light codes? Is it something, are you tapping into the sun energy? Is it something you're using through crystal energy? How do you get it?
Well, it's basically contained in all that is. So as we're connected to all that is, we start to limit our experience when we believe that we're separate. And then within that illusion of separation, we start to create almost a barrier with our belief systems.
Yeah.
When you stand beyond those limited beliefs, you start to access these different levels of awareness. And that's where these light codes are able to activate that dormant memory within you. You contain all the information held within the universe within you already.
Does it automatically pass down generation to generation? So let's say, for example, you reference it as trauma, for example. Let's say it was a grandparent. Would that automatically go from parent then to
That's
you
what I was
kind of thing?
wondering.
You just kind of just get
Go
it
down the line?
automatically?
As far as trauma?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it automatically just flows down. So whatever they experienced in their life and we're going to have some sort of energetic. Is it like we're going to have
Like a residual effect?
Yeah, like a residual. How do I say, Glacier? Is it like we're going to have a tendency to relive what they had to relive? Are we reliving their karma in essence?
Yeah, not so much their karma, but it's more of a completion of an idea or a lesson. So it's almost like you pick up where they left off in the evolution of the human consciousness, right? So when we have a trauma, we have to find some sort of resolution with it to be complete. So it's like a full lesson happens with it. If the lesson is unfinished, it's still something unfinished in the collective, and we pick it up and finish it off.
Well, that does make sense. Okay, so like whether I'm just picking a topic, let's say alcoholism or drug abuse, or if somebody was sexually abused or physically abused, chances are their parents were too. And
Yes.
chances are their parents were too, and so forth and so on. So I get what you're saying, how it can genetically be connected all the way down the line. That does make sense.
So,
Yeah.
so, and then what you do is then you'll work to help break that energy, right?
Yeah, the energy within the energetics of the DNA itself. Yeah. So
Okay.
the DNA is emitting its own energetic field and vibrational expression, right? And that's where you get down into the energy of it. And every person can do this. we naturally do this when we're connected into our higher levels of consciousness that we really exist within.
How do you do, like, let's say, for example, and thank you for sharing all this with us and getting us up to speed on quantum energy coding. Is that when let's say you have that and someone comes to you or they want to know how to do it, like what do they, how do they first know that, hey, this has been a generational pattern? Like, what's their red flags or symbol that they automatically say, okay, well, this is what I'm going through, and then I can imagine most people just don't, or do they associate it with other generations?
Most people don't. In my experience, they don't. So we take a look at where it came from. When I do sessions with people, I look at where it came from, past life or within the generations, within their lineage. And so some people do know because they say, my mom lived like this, my grandmother had this same experience, and they start to kind of see that this is something more than just their unique experience.
So is it like a generational curse?
Not really a curse. It's more of, if you think about the whole collective as one and you're trying to understand a concept, it doesn't matter which person on the team gets it. As long as one person gets it, then it gets uploaded into the collective as a completion. You can kind of do that with the lineage. The lineage needs to get this to clear the energetics of that DNA expression as it moves through time and space. Right?
And yeah, no, I get that. Makes sense. Is it something that can be done in one session? Does it take multiple sessions? Does it take lifetime?
Well, she says people can do it themselves.
I know, that's what I'm wondering.
And so you would have to learn how to do it, right?
Right.
So in one session, you can start to clear clusters. So when you store trauma, it's usually not one specific pattern. So each trauma can create something like fear, anger, frustration, obsession even, or whatever. And each one of those has a different frequency that it exists within. So you go in and you shift all of those so that that whole cluster of that static energy or distorted energy dissolves, and then the whole system gets repatterned. However, if a person goes back into their old way of thinking,
Which was my next question.
then they'll drop right back in.
They will. If someone's aware, being aware of it, is that a major, I know it sounds like it may be an obvious question, but is it really a major step? Is that a big part of being able to combat any past trauma? So for example, if you had someone from a previous generation that, let's say, was an alcoholism, if you would, and you know that, now you being aware of it and you making a conscious decision saying that, okay, well, that's not going to happen to me. Have you now started the process to break that DNA strand, or you have? Okay, so
yeah, and it's not even the DNA itself, it's the energetics or the vibrational expression within the DNA, right? And so it really would take the person to commit to training their body to have a different response, right? Because that pattern is in their genetics or in the expression of the genetics, right? So with the alcoholism, it is in there, right? That's a physical thing. And so, but the coping mechanism that would lead somebody, or the experiences that would lead somebody to need to cope, that, whatever that is, would need to be addressed before you try to shift anything at all. And that's actually that's what's contained within the energetics of the DNA.
Interesting.
So when you're constantly, each generation is continually passing the baton forward and forward and forward, if you would, like that, is there a point in time where the race is complete and then whoever's got that last baton merges with the source, or is this?
That's right now.
That's okay. Great. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So tell us about that.
So we're in a culmination lifetime. We're wrapping up all of the loose ends within all of the 3D timelines. So that means every lifetime each person has had within the 3D, they're having completion with all these lessons that were unresolved. So say they lost their love and they had that, like that heartache that they just carried around with them lifetime after lifetime. Or maybe that was also in their lineage. A lot of times people will incarnate into a lineage that needs to be cleared because they need to clear it from the memories of their soul, or actually not clear it, but come to completion with the lesson of it. And so we're going back through all of these experiences and bringing them into the present moment for a modern experience with it, and then coming to completion with that. And that's why it looks like complete chaos, like a series of unfortunate events are unfolding in a person's life because they're actually wrapping up so many things.
It's just all hitting us
Oh,
all at
wow.
once. It's like, here you go.
It's like an
deal with-
explosion
it's
of
like,
all
boom.
your experiences.
You hit the pinata, right? And then
Yeah,
it's like, boom, it's done. Like, it's
exactly.
just, wow. That's
So what are the options then? Do people either deal with it, die, or ascend? Like, where?
Well, my understanding of that is everybody can ascend if they want to. So
Mhm.
the ascension is really about reconnecting to your multidimensional self. And not everybody has to do that. Not everybody wants to do that. There are a lot of people who don't even know what the ascension is. They've never heard of it. Nobody's getting left behind. So we exist beyond this reality, right? And so do all these other people. And so just because they're not part of going through the process of purging the timelines and things like that doesn't mean they're not still just being carried through the ascension process.
Oh, okay.
People have really beautiful hearts and they genuinely want good for others, but
Mhm.
they're not on the ascension path. They don't even know what that is if you asked them what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
get out of my house.
Yeah. Go away.
Yeah. And so the people who have those beautiful hearts, the one that genuinely want good for others, are being carried with this rising. They're naturally rising up too and seeing the improvements in the world.
So our collective energy, for example, as we, the collective, if you call it, work to just get through this stuff real fast, and those, I guess, are be more aware at present, that energy will then just carry on everybody else and be like, kind of like, come with us, we're going, kind of thing.
So are they like in the caboose? They're coming along.
Yeah, pretty much. Or they're just, yeah, they're in the cars. They're just, in the dining car.
Yeah, in the dining car.
But really, they're contributing too because they're maintaining this stable energy into the collective. So the star seeds and the indigos can really start breaking down and doing the grid work and do the restructuring of this reality, because we know that everything in this physical reality has an etheric template. It all started in energy first. And so that's where these energy workers are coming in and starting to shift the template of our reality on that level. And the people who don't know about ascension and are just kind of upholding the level are willing to go along with that shift because it's based in the upliftment of humanity.
Okay, so let me just get it for 1 second. Okay, so the ones that are in the caboose or the dining car, it'll be their choice.
Can't you use a different reference?
Why? It makes
She
sense.
said they ground people.
Well, no. Well, yeah, which is true. But if they decide that they don't want to go along for the ride, they also have the option to
ride out the 3D timelines.
To ride out the three. Okay. So
Well,
they have the option to stay behind if they want.
So it's
right?
not, and it's not so much a conscious decision to say, okay, well, I'm not going on the 5D run or whatever that is. They
5D train.
when they choose to stay behind, what is there? Is it just like, I just don't want any part of what I'm seeing here, kind of thing like that? Is that how they react?
I don't feel like most people would choose to stay behind when they know what the option is.
When they know what the option is the option going to be a version of hell?
Well,
of sorts.
In a way, yes, because the 3D timelines are not sustainable. A lot of them have been created with artificial energies, and there's a lot of distortions within them. And so these timelines, the reason that we're rising up and bringing the whole collective into a higher vibration is because these lower timelines aren't sustainable and they're kind of collapsing in on themselves in a way. So as the earth reality shifts, the people who are not choosing to shift with it start breaking down, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they're choosing a system that's collapsing.
And when do you see the actual, or does it happen, or does it not ever happen? Will there be a point in time that there will be no more 3D? It will all have evolved?
Well, being multidimensional beings, will be able to access whatever level of awareness we want to operate from. Mm-hmm. So we exist within this 3D reality right now, in this physical reality. We are bringing in a lot of light to transform that. However, that's not going to happen like that fast, you know. I mean,
Right.
it's happening really fast already, but it's not like in 2 years we're just going to be these light beings, you know, and this reality is no longer physical. So right now we can access these different levels of awareness and kind of bring those energies into this reality, turning it into almost this multi-dimensional experience rather than just like the 3D or 4D or 5D or whatever. It's more of a multi-dimensional reality that we exist.
So speaking of, it's not going to happen
Interesting.
that fast. What is coming up fast, and if you can put your perspective on this for us, is December 21st. Is that relevance of that you're feeling?
Well, actually, the whole month of December has a lot of activations and portals. So, what I've been seeing is like every few days, we go through another peak of this accessing these higher energies. So, as we've been working this entire year to basically break down all of these distortions, we're blossoming into this opening of the accelerated manifestation frequencies, right? So when you shift into, I like to look at the dimensions with degrees. So when you shift degrees within a dimension, you access a whole other level of awareness and abilities and information that exists within that degree. So we're going through almost this gateway or portal that allows us access to memories of our multi-dimensional expression, because we exist here in this one, but we also exist in the other ones, almost as if we have an avatar in every single one, but it's all us. It's a very
Strange.
kind of hard concept to wrap your head around, that you exist in all these different realities, but having conscious awareness of that existence is what we're starting to step into.
And are we the same? Are we the same age as we are in the other dimensions? Do we look the same? Are we playing the same roles? Or is it totally different?
It's my understanding that it's totally different.
So when we're talking,
Interesting.
so that's pretty cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about these different dimensions and timelines, so when we're looking into when we get messages, for example, like, there's that gut instinct or something, or gut intuition, is that our future self sending us something like, okay, don't go down that road, or, you know what I mean? Or don't do this. Are we actually getting, people call it the gut instinct, but is that literally like our future self kind of letting us know?
We'd like to share a story. While it may sound fictional, it's very real and happening right now in front of our very eyes. It's called The Great Awakening. Our sisters and brothers that come on Spiritually Raw are doing everything to help expand global consciousness, and in many cases putting everything on the line to share their messages about what's happening around the world for the greater good of humanity, while exposing the truth of the deep state and the dark forces behind it all. We are living in the most unbelievable times. Some may even say biblical, scary for many and yet exhilarating for others. Together we are taking part in getting everyone acclimated to the Great Awakening process and the exciting new discoveries that lie ahead. The sad part is many of our amazing guests are being heavily censored, socially shamed, and outright banned on many platforms for exposing the truth and piercing the veil. By becoming a viewer, you bring your powerful energy towards this global movement of other truth seekers. If you're resonating with our show, please let us know by hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, turn on the notification, and leave some comments. Together, we will turn the universal key to global harmony and create a unified world. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Thanks, and God bless Patriots worldwide.